sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network live. woodwardsports.com. As always, a beautiful Tuesday morning. Oh, how much I've missed you, Jeff. Iafrate back on the table. What's up, man?
Oh, I miss you guys, too. I hate missing shows. I made a joke to you yesterday. I was on my Brett Favre streak, but I was dead yesterday. My voice is a little messed up, if you guys can already tell. Yesterday, I didn't want to show up, do a show, and just be coughing. It's just disgusting. So I took the day off. I watched the show. You guys killed it, by the way, Adam. I know you'd hold it down, but I'm excited to be back. It's perfect timing.
You picked a hell of a day to come back.
I know.
All right. Look, I am a very patient man, or at least I like to think I am. I know I have anger issues.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we know this.
Blood pressure issues. I get it. All right. I'll admit, my flaws. But I'd like to think I'm a pretty patient dude when it comes to having conversations. And I like to think a team that in the last 2 decades, and since I was born, a team that's won 2 Super Bowls, that have gone 15-8 in the postseason, in the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning stretch of the NFL, I'd like to think that they kind of know what they're doing. And no, not every organization is perfect, and not every organization gets it all right. Nobody is right 100% of the time. Not even Jeff. I know. It's hard to believe. I know.
It's true.
Well, the Baltimore Ravens, just expecting a normal day at the league meetings yesterday, and Lamar Jackson drops a hell of a tweet. To my fans, and I'll summarize it for all of you. To my fans, don't listen to the bullshit. I asked for a trade on March 2nd. The Ravens are not acting in good faith. I have no interest in playing in Baltimore. Somebody come get me. Cool. John Harbaugh brushes it off, dodges questions, surprised that this actually came out during his interviews. Okay. Lamar Jackson wants out. No problem. Jeff, I'm going to let you go first on this. This is your guy. I'm not talking even about Jared Goff yet or the Detroit Lions. That's a whole different headache. We'll get to at 8:15, by the way. But what's the number one thing that turns me off about any quarterback?
When he depends on his legs too much.
No.
That's one thing.
Actually wrong. It's shocking. A little rusty this morning. When they're noisy.
When they're noisy.
I don't like noisy quarterbacks. I don't like Cam Newton's. I don't like Baker Mayfield's. I don't even like Kyler Murray's, who act in a noisy way. I don't like quarterbacks that give me headaches. It's just me. I don't like it. Now, you could argue, well, if they just paid him, they wouldn't have this headache. You could argue that. But then you would be the idiot that would pay a mobile quarterback who's already been hit.
There it is.
Over 1,200 times. A fully guaranteed contract, which, by the way, the Browns completely fucked the NFL quarterback market, but that's a whole different conversation for another day. I'd like to think the Baltimore Ravens would and likely have made a fair offer. Fair maybe in their eyes, unfair maybe in Lamar's eyes, and that's fine. That's what negotiations are for. But I hate noisy quarterbacks. I hate quarterbacks that are in the news for all the wrong reasons. I hate quarterbacks that are in the news for a tweet, for requesting a trade publicly. I hate that. And again, are the Ravens clean in this? No, they're not. But now you want to convince me that there's a huge market for Lamar, let alone in Detroit, which again we'll get to in a few minutes. You want to convince me there's a market for that? Yeah, maybe Atlanta, maybe Washington, because Washington, they ran like shit. They don't care.
True.
Ravens have all the cards here. Lamar, you don't want to play? Great. Save the money. You want to get traded? Good. We get 2 first-round picks. Bye. The Ravens win in every scenario, and they're not budging.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know who's advising Lamar. I just think this is the wrong way to go about it.
Well, I think it's a matter of who has more leverage, and you just nailed it. It's the Ravens. Unfortunately, listen, I love Lamar. I typically find myself defending him. I don't want him in Detroit, but as a player, I do find myself defending him. But let's be real here. Lamar Jackson, and if we look at just the timeline of this whole situation dating back to when they first offered Lamar that first deal, because in July 21st, 2022, the Cardinals signed Kyler Murray 1 year after Lamar Jackson was drafted to a 5-year, $230 million extension. The Ravens offered Lamar more money than Kyler Murray, but didn't give him the fully guaranteed Deshaun Watson contract, which, to be honest, as much as I defend Lamar, that's a good deal. Like, as much as the Deshaun Watson contract resets the market, that's an anomaly. Like, I know from Lamar's perspective, it's like, well, I have an MVP, I'm a unanimous MVP, I should get as much guaranteed money as Deshaun Watson. But I'm with the Ravens here. Like, that's to give him a fully guaranteed contract when Lamar the last 2 seasons has missed, 4 games, 5 games each of the last 2 seasons. He's played in 12. I wouldn't do it, especially Deshaun, who, even with all the legal trouble, people forget how good Deshaun Watson is. Much better, at least over a long period of time, than Lamar Jackson. Listen, I get frustrations from both sides. I know Lamar, and speaking of him being in the news, even before this, he's never really been a noisy quarterback. This stuff's making him noisy. The whole offseason's been about Lamar Jackson. But quite frankly, Adam, I'm with the Ravens here.
Hasn't he been, though? Because to me, it was noisy all the time. Because when he'd go 12 for 14 or 12 for 15 for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, trust.
Well,
big trust.
Well, that's like
not bad for a running back. Woo! Shut the fuck up, man.
So you want your quarterback to
shut the fuck up.
Just be
cool,
calm, and collected.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, my preference. I think it's stupid.
Now,
and I think the way he's handled it, unfortunately for him,
but
not the best.
Could I tell you this, though? If we're talking about leverage, because I agree, the Ravens have more leverage, but isn't there a part of the Ravens that think if we don't find a way to replace, they're in a win-now mode, they got a good team. If you don't re-sign Lamar, what are they winning this year? Like,
nothing.
With who?
And you know why? They'll be fine. Because they have a 30-year track record of consistently figuring their shit out. And you know who drafted Lamar at the end of the first round?
The same GM.
And pivoted their entire offense around him? This very same Baltimore Ravens.
Everything's going to be fine.
That have provided him with the top 10 defense the last 4 seasons. Nobody talks about it. Oh, there. No receivers. No receivers. May I remind you, dumb fucks, and you know who you are, that Jared Goff had a top 5 offense midway into last season with Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as primary options?
It's true.
Big trust. Fucking stupid, man. Shit drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. Look,
my gosh.
I'm all for player empowerment, players getting what they believe is their value, no problem.
Right.
Negotiating on your behalf, no problem. But this isn't the NBA, man. You don't own the league. The Ravens and every team could push you out of the league and nobody would miss you. I don't care who you are.
It's a scary truth.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
So when you're negotiating, this isn't an NBA contract where you have complete control over a franchise when you're a star player. For Lamar Jackson, again, I don't know who's advising him. All I know is if he thinks he should get more money, great. If he didn't play towards the tail end of the last season because he started off hot and then regressed and then got hurt and the Ravens were very non-committal on the contract, that's your fault. You should have signed before the season. But you gambled on yourself and then took it back. And you've now been hurt the last 2 seasons. And you've now thrown more interceptions per attempt the last 2 seasons. Oh, and you're, yes, 26 years old. And yes, you're a phenomenal athlete. And yes, the Ravens would love to have you, I'm sure. And they will be much worse without you. But how does this make any sense for the player? Oh, he declined 3 years, $133 million, 44 annually, fully guaranteed. He wants the long-term deal. Well, Lamar, How do you want me to give you a long-term deal when running backs, their shelf life maybe is 3.5 years in the NFL, and you're carrying the ball as much as a top 12, top 15 running back in the NFL? How? How does that make sense to anybody? Not that he's a running back. Again, he's not. He's a super dynamic quarterback.
Right.
Who from the pocket, very good. Who can make throws, yes. Who doesn't make throws consistently, who isn't the most effective on obvious passing downs. But there is a way to win with Lamar. There is.
He's been proven. Look at his
75%
record.
75% win rate.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at his record as a quarterback.
So I'm not going to sit here and deny Lamar like he isn't a top 10 quarterback in the league right now, or that he isn't worth a contract that's worth more than Dak or Kirk or some of these guys around the league. But what I'm not going to do is sit there and blame the Ravens when if I was a GM, I wouldn't want to lock up a fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback who can't even finish the season. No, I'll pass.
And especially, you look at Danny Dimes, all right, Daniel Jones for the Giants and what he just got paid. Him and Lamar have the same, and this is a weird stat, but they have the same amount of playoff wins. They both have one.
Who?
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, well, you know,
like, so I'm not saying that's not to knock Lamar,
yeah,
but
we can cherry pick stats.
It's the reality
fair,
of it.
but.
I mean, I'm just saying. So as good as he is in the regular season, you at least have to bring up his postseason record as well. So, listen, I'm on Lamar's side here. I want him to get paid, but if you're trying to get Deshaun
we did
Watson
this with
money,
Dak Prescott. We did this with Dak Prescott, and who are the fucking idiots after, huh? Who are the idiots after that contract? Dallas. You want to pay Dak $45 million, Jeff? Would you?
No.
Oh.
No, I wouldn't.
But he deserves his money. He earned it. Because he wasn't paid. He was a third-round, fourth-round pick.
He can get it. It just won't be with my franchise.
Okay.
That's
well,
the difference.
welcome to Baltimore. Welcome to Baltimore.
Well, let's be clear. Dak, Lamar's better than Dak.
That's the point, though. That's the point, though.
I'm a little biased on
Just
Dak.
because one owner is a goddamn idiot doesn't mean another is. Just because one GM made a big mistake doesn't mean another will want to.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Dak, Lamar, totally different dynamic. Dak has had his injury problem, so has Lamar. This is where the show gets fun. And speaking of the show, coming up next, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Should they make a move for Lamar Jackson? All over social media yesterday. You guys know how I feel about it. Want to hear what Jeff thinks. And I'm going to tell you exactly why Jared Goff is the better option for the next 2 to 3 seasons for the Detroit Lions than Lamar Jackson. I'll make my case. You guys want to call me a goddamn idiot? Great. I'm going to bring, I don't know, things like actual facts and statistics, and you're going to bring your feelings about a running back playing the quarterback position very well that you want in Detroit. Having said that, coming up next, Lamar to Detroit, Jared Goff at 8:30, 8:45, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are a complete shit show. 9 o'clock, Brad Holmes will get to his comments and what he said at media availability yesterday. We'll go to 9:15, with the Lions over-under for wins next season opening up at 9.5. 9:30, Jaden Ivey, what an absolute stud. 32, 8-8 last night. And of course they lost, so what else is new? But hey, gotta talk about something, right? And at 9:40, we'll revisit the Jared Goff Lions dynamic, wrap up the show, take some calls, and we'll get to Mailbag. All right, so second hour is going to be fun. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Chili Peppers Tanning.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations and more on the way.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Some favorites during Lent like shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Get your local Big Boy today. Don't forget the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. WoodwardSports.com is always missing the show live. You can always watch it back later after the fact. Download the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the morning show available. Leave it a 5-star review. Tell Jeff how much you think of his hair. I know that would mean a lot for him.
Yeah, it would. It really would.
All right. Guys, look. I like to think I've watched enough football in my life to realize when a team is on the cusp of going all in, and should, rightfully so, and when a team is really in a rebuild. I've seen a lot of those. And I've also seen a lot of teams that kind of in the middle could go either direction, but some of those teams, and not even some, most of them, could go all in if they wanted to. But they've got flexibility. They can go all in without having to. And the Lions fall under that exact category. A team that could go all in and not affect their future.
Yep.
Because they have a young core, over $100 million in salary cap space projected for next year. A lot of one-year non-committal deals. Yes, they're going to pay Amon-Ra. Yes, they'll pay Panay. A lot of things coming up over the next few years, no problem. But it's a young core. Oh, on top of the 2 first-round picks you've yet to draft in this upcoming draft. And that does include all the other picks. You have 2 second-rounders, a third, 2 fifths, or 1 fifth, 2 sixths, whatever the number is. The Lions are in a good position right now.
They are.
The Lions don't have to force. The Lions aren't at the blackjack table down 20 grand with 10 grand in their hand left. Or excuse me, 10 grand on the table, and they're going to go all in on one hand. They don't got to do that. The Lions are sitting there comfortable, knowing they can do whatever they want, knowing that Jared Goff can either A, buy them time, B, be their short-term solution, and C, have an exit strategy from Jared Goff in the future, which I think is very real and very realistic. But the idea of trading for Lamar Jackson, where let's say his contract is $48 million. Is that a fair number? $48 million annually.
For
Lamar. Let's say that's his contract. Okay, that's what you're going to have to pay to get your hands on Lamar. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you're also going to have to pay 2 first-round picks. The $48 million at Lamar on a 4 or 5 year deal to get him to actually want to come. Oh, and on top of that, you're going to have about $10 million in dead cap space if you move off of Jared Goff. So it's going to cost you about $58 million in reality. So first, financially, you could make it work. You can make anything work in the NFL. Financially, I'm not interested. Okay, let's go to the football part. Jared Goff coming off a career season, 4,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Posted a top 5 offense where a majority of the year his second and third options at wide receiver were Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds. Okay, well, he's no Lamar Jackson. He doesn't bring that dynamic on the ground. Cool. I don't want my quarterbacks doing that. And Jared Goff has had just as much of a track record in the postseason, if not more, than Lamar Jackson. Jared Goff has been the healthier quarterback in his career, more so than Lamar Jackson. And yes, if this was Madden 23 and you added Lamar on the Lions, oh God, we're all kumbaya. But it's not Madden. And I'm not interested. The idea of me giving up 2 first-round picks. For who? A guy that is no more capable in terms of winning playoff games than Jared Goff? A guy who would have to come here and you would have to shift your entire offense around him to what he does well. And that's the beauty of this Lions offense right now, is that it's unpredictable. You don't have to game plan for anybody. You can't. Everybody can hurt you on this offense. And that's the point. And all Jared Goff has to do is find the right guy and find the open receiver. Well, Adam, Jared Goff can't throw the deep ball. That's not fair. Well, on attempts of 21 to 30 yards downfield, Jared Goff threw 67% completion percentage, 1,624 yards, 1,264 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 107.3 passer rating. Anything above 31 yards, 59%, 629 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not bad if you ask me. Now, does Jared Goff throw a clunker occasionally downfield? He does. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. He does. It's not the greatest arm talent. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Herbert. It's not Lawrence. It's not. But I'm okay with that. You think I care about throwing the ball 40, 50 yards downfield? I don't. That happens maybe once, twice a game. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in is winning division titles, winning playoff games, setting a new bar for this franchise. And I can do that with Jared Goff. So you guys convince me why Lamar is so much better than Jared Goff. I'm listening.
No.
Well, as an athlete,
pass.
sure. Sure, no problem. But did you know Jared Goff last year among all quarterbacks ranked second in pressure and sacks avoided? According to Next Gen Stats. Second among all quarterbacks in the NFL. Not Jalen Hurts. Not Josh Allen. Not Patrick Mahomes.
Sacks avoided.
Second in pressure and sacks avoided. And you know how I feel about footwork in the pocket. Mm-hmm. And that's a perfect example. Now, a very good offensive line, don't get me wrong.
Elite, yeah.
But still, second.
Yeah, for a statue, that's pretty good.
Avoided.
For somebody that's not the most
Sign me
mobile
up.
guy. This, can I just nominate comment of the entire show? Hoof-hearted nailed it with this comment. Lamar plays hero ball. He's awesome at that. The Lions' offense is far beyond needing a hero at quarterback. We have no idea if Lamar can actually play in a functional system. Well, this last part I don't really agree with. But what he's saying is, you look at San Francisco. What do they need? They drafted Trey Lance, but quite frankly, they might just need a Mac Jones, like they had Brock Purdy this year, somebody that can just dish the ball out. That's kind of what the Lions have right now with what Ben Johnson is trying to do. They just need essentially a point guard at quarterback, not somebody that is dynamic, super dynamic. Now, it helps, but to give up 2 first-round picks and pay him $50 million is not worth it. I think Goff, at what he's making right now, technically it is a discount to market. He's playing at a high level. And I think Goff's skill set, Ben Johnson was able to build an offense around him, and it's working out. So I don't think the Lions are in desperation mode to go get a guy like Lamar Jackson. That's a luxury. That's for teams that, like Atlanta, where you have cap space, you don't have a plan at quarterback, and you want to go get Lamar. The Lions are in no situation to go pursue Lamar, especially considering that a top 4, top 5 offense with Jared last year. So I think you made some great points, although I'm a little higher on Lamar than you. I think the overall thing we can all agree with is the Lions don't need to trade for Lamar. This makes absolutely zero sense. It's stupid, quite frankly. And Jared Goff, the type of quarterback he is a much better fit, at least in my opinion, with what Ben wants to do. Now, can Ben build an offense around Lamar? Yes. But I think what Ben wants to do specifically fits Jared Goff a little better. I mean, he takes a little piece out of Kyle Shanahan's book, and quite frankly, he's just a better fit. So it doesn't make any sense. And I love the poll I put up here just to see what people think. Clearly, 200 votes went the way we thought it would. Lamar Jackson to the Lions, yes and no. 82% say no. So even Lions fans understand this is an unrealistic possibility. Even though Brad will say, we'll do our due diligence, it ain't happening.
Yeah, we'll get to Brad later. But look, again, call me naive. Call me racist, call me unfair, whatever you want to call me. That's fine. You know where Jared Goff is right now? Anybody? He's out enjoying his summer. Having some good weather. Training every single day. Getting ready for the season. with his fiance. Awesome. Haven't heard much from Jared Goff. I like that.
Yeah, he's confident. He had a good year.
Very good year.
A lot of teams need a quarterback. He knows if I'm not in Detroit, I'll be somewhere.
Working out with the Monreal off season. Nice. Don't mind it. Thank you.
I want to start seeing more
Lamar Jackson, whenever things go haywire. Here we go. Look, I'm not saying Lamar doesn't have a right to be upset. You can be upset. It's a business. It's not about your feelings, and I don't care. I really don't. You've been offered your fair share of guaranteed money that you could have taken. And until you are an elite pocket passer, which he's not, and I don't care what you say, I've seen it way too many times on obvious passing downs. And again, this is where the media tries to trick you about Lamar, is they'll bring up all the stats where he was 6th in QBR among all quarterbacks in the NFL in the pocket and all these great numbers. Are those on third and median, 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9? Is that on 2nd and 10? No.
Right.
Baltimore have a great system where he's in RPO action 80% of the game, running the ball. Mark Andrews as a safety blanket over the middle of the field. They play a certain way. You ask Lamar Jackson to drop back, 587 times? Because that's what Jared Goff did last year. That's what the Lions needed to win 9 games last year. They needed Goff to throw the ball 587 times. Lamar in his one full season, well, he's never had a full season, so I take that back. In the year where he attempted the most attempts, it was 401 attempts. 186 less in the year. I think you got to win in the pocket in the NFL. Yeah. I'll say the same about Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, everybody. Sean McDermott came out literally yesterday and said this. We have to change our offense. Josh Allen is running too much. This is not sustainable. This doesn't work. We need to find a way to win games in the pocket and keep him safe and protected.
Right. And I want to say this too, just to close it. So, Jared is fine right now. He's under contract. When the Lions eventually, assuming that they want to draft a quarterback or find a new quarterback, to me it's through the draft. It's not to go get Lamar. The next move would be drafting a quarterback. So Jared to me is just he's a placeholder. He can play well. Doesn't mean he's people take placeholder, bridge quarterback. They take that as an insult. For me, Jared's fine right now. But when you eventually move on from Jared, it'll be through the draft, not going out and paying Lamar Jackson $50 million.
This is a great comment. You had a great comment earlier. I'm going to read this one. Truth Teller, 2011. I'm sure you haven't watched every game of Lamar to have a clear understanding of what he can do. Who was Lamar throwing to again? Well, how about I'll flip the question. Who was Jared Goff throwing to? Amon-Ra St. Brown, who on average catches 10 yards a ball? I love Amon-Ra. I do. 10 yards a reception. That's his number. Similar to who? Hollywood Brown. Career numbers. Yards per catch. Marquise Brown has a higher yards per catch rating than Amon-Ra. Well, who else? Who else is there? Anybody? Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond? That's acceptable? They trade TJ Hawkinson. He's throwing to Shane Zylstra, Brock Wright, and a rookie tight end, James Mitchell. Only throws 1 interception the entire year. We're acting as if this Lions offense is some juggernaut with Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill on the outside.
No, it's not.
And Amon-Ra on the slot. It's just not how it is. This is an offense that's creative. They play chess. They run the ball semi-effectively. And Jared Goff, down the stretch, over those 10 games, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. The numbers speak for themselves. I don't want to hear it. And even when the Lions were losing games, they had a top 5 offense. And no, it wasn't because they were running the ball well.
Oh, I love this comment too. William says, Jeff, quit saying Jared is fine right now. He's better than fine. He's great for now and years to come if that's what they want to do. Well, if that's what they want to do. What do you want to do, William? Are you willing to pay Jared? if he's going to command $45 to $50 million. That's what I mean by fine now.
Jared can leave too.
Right.
He's going to get the same shit.
Yeah,
if he thinks he's getting $45 million, 4 years fully guaranteed out of me, suck my balls. Not happening.
That's
Not
my
happening.
point with he's fine. It's I don't.
Suck
you got 2
balls
years
as
left.
always. How
We'll
do you
get
not?
there when we get there. We'll see what he wants.
Oh, God. All right, here's what we're going to do. We'll take a break. When we get back, oh, by the way, some of these comments. What's Jared Goff's winning record with Detroit? He's 0-0 in the playoffs. I don't care about the Rams run. Lamar Jackson, every year he's been a starting quarterback in the NFL, has had a top 10 defense. Find me the year the Lions gave Jared Goff anything higher than 31. Oh, wait, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go back to the Rams days when he had a top 10 defense, his record speaks for itself. It's well over 65%.
But for all those Jared Goff defenders, that top 10 defense was before he got paid. So if you guys want to pay Goff,
Just like Lamar.
you're going to have to sacrifice some other players.
Just like Lamar.
It is what it is.
Have they paid Lamar?
No.
Have they fielded a top 10 defense? Have
Yes.
they paid Roquan Smith?
Yes.
Marcus Peters?
Yes.
Should I continue?
Yep.
Do me a favor.
That's how this works.
Stop the Lamar Jackson to Detroit nonsense. I'd rather have Jared Goff. Thank you very much. Lamar Jackson brings excellent qualities. Good for him. No problem. I'm content. Give me the problem one day where Jared Goff is stopping this team from getting to a Super Bowl. Please, God.
It's a good
Bless
problem.
me with these problems.
That's a good problem to have.
Bless me with 2 NFC title appearances in 3 years. And they lose them both because Goff can't make the throws down the stretch. Please, Lord. God. Somebody fucking answer me. Give me these problems. We'll take a break. When we get back, I want to continue the conversation, move off of Lamar Jackson, though. I want to focus on the Lions. We'll get to the meetings later on and what happened yesterday. All the quotes coming out from Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Swiss can make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance. Give them a shot. You won't be disappointed. Contact them, mark@swissins.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate as always, 8:33 on a beautiful Tuesday morning. I missed you yesterday, by the way. Show's not as fun without you, but
That's sweet.
there you go. I'm going to serve this up for you.
All right. what's up?
What do you think of this statement? Jared Goff is the Detroit Lions' answer for the short-term future, but they're not pressed to draft their future quarterback unless Goff gives them a reason to. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
And you know where I'm going to go with this. You know how I feel about Alex Smith. Now, I'm not going to talk about Mahomes. The fact that they traded up to 10 and landed a top 5 quarterback of all time already is ridiculous. Andy Reid, Mahomes, it was a perfect fit. Travis Kelce, Tyreek. Okay, I'm not saying it's that. But what I'm telling you is the model of winning division titles with Alex Smith and winning playoff games. Sign me up. Get there. And when Goff shows that he isn't capable or that he has a ceiling here in Detroit, which I think there is. What it is, I don't know yet. But I'd like to imagine there is a ceiling. And I know I wouldn't bet my money on Jared Goff winning a game over Mahomes or some of these guys at the top of their game. But what I won't do is sit here and act like the Lions, with the roster they have and that they've built, aren't capable of winning 11 games next year, winning the division, and winning a playoff game, dare I say even 2.
Playoffs?
He's not my problem right now. And yeah, I would love to draft a quarterback. I would. Would love to save all that money. Go all in everywhere else. I would love that. It's not my reality. And I'm only paying Jared Goff $30 million for the next 2 years? You know what a discount that is compared to everybody else in the league?
It's a discount.
I'm stealing. It's absurd to me. His first year was a disaster on a disaster roster with a disaster coach. His second year, the coach manned up, got a lot better down the stretch, but the roster had totally improved. They showed a top 5 offense early on, and then the defense came around down the stretch. Offense continued its ways. The rest is history, okay? So what I expect is if Jared Goff goes out and wins the division this year, who's going to be complaining about him being the starting quarterback the following year?
Not too many people. Now, if you win a playoff game, you get to let's say you host your playoff game, you get to an NFC title game, and he craps the bed. Maybe there's a lot of that criticism here. But other than that, I don't think nobody, especially being a Lions fan, you have the Lions in an NFC title game or at least winning a playoff game. Not too many people are going to be too upset. Just depends on context.
All right, well, speaking of context, Dan Campbell came out publicly, supported his quarterback. Jared Goff is our guy. I'm just summarizing here. You guys know how he feels about the quarterback. They all love him there. But, and you guys know how I feel, so I'm not going to get into it. But the rumors are, the Lions are deflecting all in on Goff so they could make a run for the quarterback. I went through this list Friday with you, Jeff? Since the year 2000. Draft classes that have had 3-4 quarterbacks come out in the first round. You were lucky if one of them worked, and over 75% of the time, the first one that was taken was the guy that ended up working. Now take that data point and data sample and implement it into this year's draft. Young or Stroud are going 1. Likely Stroud. 2 will be Bryce Young. So you are left with what the teams at the top didn't want or didn't believe in.
And those are the only 2 guys I'm willing to take. So it's over.
Will Levis, Anthony Richards.
At least in the first round.
I'm not saying, no.
Doesn't rule out Hendon Hooker.
About the first round.
Doesn't rule out Hendon Hooker in the third round.
I'm only talking about the first round here.
Yes.
But look, if you want to sell me on the idea that Brad Holmes is either making a secret, lucrative move to go acquire Lamar Jackson, or that he's looking to trade up to get his quarterback, or he's going to stay put and take Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. If you want to do that with me this morning, you go live in La La Land. No problem. I do think any of those 2 moves would set back a lot of the progress Brad Holmes has made. Why would I believe he would go out and do such a dumb thing when all he's shown me is that he makes chess moves? Now, if he believes Anthony Richardson is this guy, even if I don't like him, even if I don't love Will Levis, if one of them is his guy, all right, I have to put my hands up and say, you know what? I do trust Brad Holmes. Questioning the pick. But if there was a guy to draft a quarterback, I'm going to trust Brad Holmes to do it. Having said that, that's not the situation here. I don't think they draft a quarterback. I don't think they trade for Lamar Jackson. I think it's all a sham and a joke. And I think anybody that's actually on the internet right now, living on the internet, engaging in this Lamar Jackson bullshit, saying that he's the best option, he would make them better, he would do this, he would do that, as if he's done it in Baltimore, to me is hilarious. It's comical. What's he done in Baltimore, huh? What, throw complete... You think Jared Goff throws ducks? Bitch, watch a Lamar Jackson game where he isn't comfortable and the pocket isn't perfect and he's got to make a throw on 3rd and long. Please. Go watch his first and second playoff game. Go watch his 4th playoff game. Hell, go even watch the one he won. You'll see the Ducks. They're not elite arm talents, not Goff, not even Lamar. So Dan comes out, supports his quarterback, Jeff. You think they're out of the market for one?
No.
First round. I'm not talking second, third, fourth, sixth round, whatever it is.
I'm going to be honest. I would say yes, but obviously Brad would never say that. But yes, I don't think they're drafting one in the first round unless Stroud or Bryce is there, which they're not. So I'm not a big fan of Will Levis, not a big fan of Anthony Richardson. Hendon Hooker's the next one up for me, other than Stroud and Young. And honestly, you're seeing Hendon Hooker shoot up draft boards. So if he's not there, other than that, you're probably taking a flyer late in the draft. But yes, I would say in the first round, at this point, seeing how it's probably going to play out, I don't think the Lions are taking a quarterback at 6.
That works for me, man. That works for me. I think that's the strategy. I don't think they will either.
Yeah.
We went over your mock draft, by the way. Everybody in the chat loved it. Everybody loved it.
Want to defend myself?
Go ahead.
The Will Anderson pick? If you look at the 5 that went in front, it was kind of realistic. It was it was 3 quarterbacks. Jalen Carter went to the Seahawks, and I believe Tyree Wilson went to Arizona. It was weird. So, again, I don't think it'll happen, but it's not like it was...
I just don't see anybody passing on Will Anderson.
Me either.
Like, if I'm an NFL owner, if I own the Cardinals or the Seahawks... Well, I can't say the Seahawks because that whole situation's fucked with ownership, but if I own the Cardinals...
And you didn't take Will Anderson?
My GM passed on Will Anderson draft night. I'm getting up,
Go
calling my lawyers, and I'm firing his ass. I'm firing his ass.
That's a fireable offense.
On grounds of sabotage, conspiracy to devalue my company.
Yeah.
To pass on Will Anderson when you hired.
And then you let another NFC team get him.
Oh God, that would be disgusting.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams, by the way, that would be in the hunt for Lamar Jackson. I think there's 2 teams that should do everything they can to get Lamar. And you tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
Atlanta.
Yep.
I think Atlanta's a great fit for him. Arthur Smith needs a creative offense. Cool. I like it.
They got weapons on rookie deals.
Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Tyler Algier, a decent offensive line, a growing defense. I like Atlanta in a shit division, by the way. He wins that division day 1.
100%.
Year 1, they win the division with him. And Indianapolis. Because he'll be the second best quarterback in that division. You're going to compete in that division. You're going to be better than the Titans, better than the Texans, likely with Lamar. Oh, and Shane Steichen's your OC, who we just saw with Jalen Hurts.
It's true.
Cook some numbers up. What do you think of those 2 destinations?
I love them. I love them both. Another one I'd throw in there, and I don't think it's likely, the Jets with this whole Aaron Rodgers situation. If I'm the Jets and you can't get a deal done for Aaron or the Packers are playing hardball, I would be interested also in Lamar Jackson. If you're going to take on Aaron Rodgers and take on majority of his contract, shouldn't have too much of a problem paying Lamar. But yeah, I love those 2 destinations. Those are probably 1 and 2. Colts already came out. And Ballard came out and said, we're mulling all offers, or we're looking at all players.
Yeah. So look, I just think Indianapolis,
it makes a lot of sense.
Their fan base is ready to pull out the pitchforks if they can't figure their shit out at quarterback. I mean, you couldn't do enough to protect Andrew Luck, and he retired early. And it's been a disaster since. Go get Lamar Jackson. And if not, if I'm Atlanta, even Washington, I do whatever it takes. It's going to cost me 2 first-round picks, whatever. It's fine.
I would love Lamar in Atlanta. With those weapons, Arthur Smith, that division, they got the money.
So you don't think Lamar would have a field day in the NFC North? No, I don't, actually. I don't, because I don't want him here.
Well,
I don't want him here.
But what about the upfront question? He would win the NFC North. But I agree. I'm not giving up $50 million.
You know, we
giving
say
up 2
that.
first-round
We
picks.
say that.
Who else?
But wherever he goes, were the Indianapolis Colts a top 5 offense last year?
No.
Were the Atlanta Falcons a top 5 offense last year?
No, they weren't.
Okay. Were the Detroit Lions a top 5 offense last year?
Yes.
The Lions have something built, yes. But you have to cater your offense in a completely different fashion for Lamar Jackson. Your pass protection changes. Your run scheme changes. Mm-hmm. You have now more RPOs. Your receivers have to... it is...
But...
to answer the question, yes. He would win the North.
I was going to say, because even
so would Jared Goff.
True. But that's the point he's making. I mean, even with you
So
changing
pay $50 million instead of $30 to win the North.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that. But he's right. He would win
And
the
give up 2 second-round picks.
Because even changing the offense around Lamar, he's got a 45-16 record in the regular season. So we can at least say he would win.
And 1-3 in the postseason.
Okay, well, I'm not getting there.
55% completion percentage in the postseason.
I agree.
Come December and January, he's either hurt or he throws the ball at a significantly less efficient rate.
But if we're just talking regular season,
yeah,
he would win. I just want to make sure you understood that.
Yeah, then he won't be ready for the playoffs. Ooh, great.
Well, if he doesn't have a contract, he won't.
How fucking exciting. We'll take a break. When we get back, I want to talk about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers for 5 minutes, and then we'll move on to some of the win totals around the league before we get to the Lions. But Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, that is such a laughable situation. And we'll get to that next. But before we do, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Planet Fitness. Sign up today. Go to planetfitness.com or visit one of their many Metro Detroit locations. $10 a month is all it takes. Get your ass in shape. Don't be lazy like JB and Jeff over here. Jeff taking days off of work. JB just not showing up after work to do anything. Hey, what are you going to do? Go to the gym. Your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Missing the show live, you can always watch back after the fact. Download the podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave a 5-star review for Jeff's awesome hair. But we got to talk about 2 things here. First, we'll get to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Second, I want to get to this Mike Tannenbaum mock draft that he released.
So, actually, JB was nice enough to send the Lions picks, and I have the full mock. So, if you want me to read some of these off for
God.
you. So,
okay.
Okay, you ready for this?
All right, give me the top 5 before the Lions. Don't spoil the Lions for me.
Number 1 overall, Bryce Young goes to Carolina, which I think
incorrect. I think it's Stroud, but okay, no problem.
Yes, no question with the talent, but again, I think the measurables, it'll be C.J. Stroud. Number 2, clearly, C.J. Stroud to Houston. 3, Will Anderson to Arizona.
Good job, Mike.
4, Will Levis. I actually agree with these 4.
4 Will Levis?
If you want to swap. Yeah, 4 Will Levis to the Colts. I can see that.
Okay.
Now, here's where things get spicy. Number 5, Seattle. He actually has 4 quarterbacks in the top 5. Seattle takes Hendon Hooker. And let me read his description for this. Let me read what he said. He said, "Okay, this one might raise some eyebrows, yeah, no doubt. But hear me out. I think Hooker is really underscouted here, largely because he's coming off an ACL. I love his strong arm before the injury, yada, yada, yada." And then he puts, "The Seahawks recently re-signed Geno Smith, but this is an excellent opportunity to draft and develop Hooker while still letting him rehab the knee. Smith turns 33 years old next season, and his new contract offers Seattle various outs over the next 3 seasons." Your thoughts on that? Before I get to the Lions pick, Hendon Hooker, top 5. Can we talk about that for a second? 25 years old, coming off an ACL injury.
This is why Mike Tannenbaum was fired in the NFL. All right. In his time, a 7-year stretch, I believe, with the Jets. They went to 2 conference championships with Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez.
Braylon was there.
He's drafted Nick Mangold, Darrelle Revis, and that's about it. Everybody else has been shit, and that's why he got fired. So, yeah, I'm not taking anything from Mike Tannenbaum. Go fuck himself. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, 4th overall. Yeah, way to go. Woo. Woo. Nick Mangold. That's a solid fucking pick if you ask me.
Are you going through his drafts?
Nick Mangold's a freaking stud. And everybody after that, not so great. Darrelle Revis, first round next year. Way to go, buddy. Then he drafts Vernon Golston and Dustin Keller in the first round. Way to go there, buddy. Drafts Mark Sanchez, 10 out of 10. Kyle Wilson. Anybody know Kyle Wilson? I don't fucking know who he is, so how the fuck are any of you supposed to know? Oh, Muhammad Wilkerson. Bust. Okay, let me not say bust. Average player in the NFL. Fair? Cool.
Yeah.
Wilkerson was okay. Bilal Powell in the 4th round. Way to go, Tannenbaum. In his last year, first round, drafted Quentin Colps and Stephen Hill in the 2nd round. Who?
So
way to go, Mike. No wonder you don't have a fucking job.
So the only
Hendon Hooker at 5. Unbelievable.
The only, I don't know, man. The only thing I guess you can make a case for, which I don't even know if you'd win that argument because it'd be a tough one, is he's better than Anthony Richardson, which I agree with.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
But the age,
a guy that threw 55% at Florida.
I was gonna say,
it's a lot better.
And you have Hendon coming off again. AC, I could see, and I agree with Funky here. He said Hooker top 5 as well, mid to late first. I can see that as well. He actually has Anthony Richardson going 11th to the Titans. Which I guess...
Yeah, great. They went from Malik Willis and doubled down with Anthony Richardson. Boy, they know what the fuck they're doing over in Tennessee.
I think Naz is the GM over there. Has to be. Let me read off the Lions pick. So, yeah, 5 is Hendon Hooker. 6,
who do the Lions get?
6th, he has the Lions taking... So, Jalen Carter's available.
Okay.
Christian Gonzalez is available. He takes Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Yeah, it's all right. And then 7th, obviously, the Raiders, they take Gonzalez.
Go through 7 of 17 because I want to know who's on the board when they pick at 18.
Okay, so 7, Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
8, Miles Murphy to Atlanta.
Okay.
9, Peter Skronsky to Chicago.
Good pick.
I don't hate these. Philadelphia takes a tackle, Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
Interesting.
11th, I told you, Anthony Richardson to the Titans.
Yep,
Quentin Johnston to the Texans at 12. Paris Johnson to the Jets at 13. The Patriots at 14 draft Darnell Wright, offensive tackle.
Oh my God! You know how many defensive players are available on this mock?
It gets better.
Jalen Carter hasn't been picked.
Packers take another tackle, DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State. 16, the Commanders, first tight end off the board, Dalton Kincaid goes to the Commanders. 17, Devin Witherspoon. And then there's 18, the Lions. Now I'll tell you who's available.
Kalijah Cansey, Joey Porter, Jalen Carter, all available.
Yep. And then who do you think the
they take Jalen Carter?
Have to, and they do at 18, which is
wow, Mike.
He falls to 18.
Mike, I just want you to know you got 7 GMs fired from pick 7 to 17.
You got 7.
Congratulations, you got 7 GMs fired. I hope you're proud of that, buddy. Taking a page out of your book.
He has 5 offensive tackles going in the top 15.
I have no words for this.
5 tackles.
This is one of the worst ones I've seen.
Well,
I've seen some shit in my life.
He has 5 tackles.
One of the worst ones I've seen.
5 tackles in the top 15. He's got Hendon Hooker going to Seattle at 5, and he's got Jalen Carter.
Name me the teams that took a tackle.
Okay.
Just not even who they took. Just give me the teams.
Okay, so obviously the first tackle I read is Chicago. So it's Chicago.
Okay, wait. Chicago? Absolutely. No problem.
Yep. The Eagles.
Stupid.
And the Jets.
Fired.
The Patriots.
Fired.
The Packers.
Fired.
And there you go. Fired. Yeah.
The only reason I didn't say fired for Philly is because they have Howie Roseman, and he wouldn't do such a thing.
And it's not that, they should. It's not that, these tackles aren't good players, but look who's still on the board. I mean, in the 20s, you have Lucas Van Ness.
I want to know why Miles
Jackson
Murphy
Smith,
and Christian Gonzalez are going before Jalen Carter.
I know.
That is hilarious to me.
Joey Porter goes 23 to the Minnesota.
Oh, that's a horrible situation for him. That's a horrible defense. Gotta help him. Gotta help him. That is a horrible mock draft.
Jalen Carter at 18.
Jesus.
Wow.
Way to go, Tannenbaum. Haven't been an NFL since 2012, GM since 2012, and, well, it looks like it.
Yeah, if the Lions don't take Jalen Carter at 6, he's gone by 18. There's no way. There's just no way. He's still there at 18.
Look, the whole Carter thing, you guys know how I feel about it. I think they're working him out pretty soon. I think he's coming for not working out. He's coming for a visit in Detroit, so that'll be interesting. That's going to answer a lot of questions behind the doors, which the reality is nobody will know. But if you want to sell me on the idea of Carter at 6, I don't hate that. But when you show up, like I said, for your job interview, and it's that bad, boy, you better be the anomaly. Because that's how you get fired in the NFL. Is when a guy has all the red flags and you still draft him and he busts. That's how you get fired in the NFL. You get fired when you draft Jamarcus Russell ahead of Calvin Johnson. You get fired when you draft Sam Bradford instead of Ndamukong Suh. That's how you get fired. You get fired when you draft Zach Wilson over Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts. That's how you get fired in the NFL. And Mike Tannenbaum just got 7 GMs fired. Speaking of GMs that are going to get fired, the Packers are...
Brian Gutekunst.
The Packers, to be fair to them, have all the leverage. They don't have to do shit until September 1st. They don't have to do anything. The Jets call, hey man, pick up, we want to make a deal. Man, fuck them. I'm going to enjoy my latte this morning. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then September comes. You know what? We should probably do this. They can do whatever they want. And the reality is it's ugly. The Packers are going to make it ugly because Aaron Rodgers has treated them in an ugly way. And it's a toxic relationship, and it's somehow ending very similar to how it ended with Brett Favre. And I just find it hilarious.
And ironic. It's the same thing.
And ironic.
But if you're the Packers, you got the draft about a month, actually. I think it's exactly a month.
27th, no. So 20, well, no, actually 29, 28 days,
yeah,
whatever it is.
About whatever it is. So the Packers, you talk about leverage. I mean, if I'm the Jets, they have all the leverage. Aaron Rodgers has leverage because you can just threaten retirement. I mean, so I don't know what the Packers are doing, but again, it is what it is. Gary says Jeff Reed picks 19 to 22. Still some good players with no red flags. Well, I'll go through them quickly. 19, Tampa Bay takes Beydoun Robinson. This is according to Mike Tannenbaum, by the way. 19, Beydoun Robinson to Tampa. Okay. 20, Seattle takes Lucas Van Ness. Good pick. 21st, Los Angeles Chargers take Jackson Smith-Njigba. And then Baltimore takes Zay Flowers. Wow, they took a first-round wide receiver. Zay Flowers, Baltimore Ravens. It's a good pick. Woo. There you go. And then I said Minnesota at 23, they take Joey Porter Jr.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Interesting mock draft. I can't believe 5 tackles in the first 15. Hendon Hooker, top 5. And then Dylan Carter.
I didn't include the Seattle GM. That's 8 people that get fired. They just re-upped Geno Smith, and they're going to pass on a defensive stud. When they just signed Bobby Wagner, they have Tariq Woolen on the outside. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. Draft a guy that'll be available in the second round. Yeah, okay. Anyways, moving on. Top of the hour coming up. When we get back, we'll get to Brad Holmes' comments. What he had to say yesterday. That'll be a fun conversation.
He had a mouthful. Yeah, he had a lot.
That'll be a fun conversation. But before we go, 2 things. One, Connor McDavid, by the way, or I should refer to him as Connor McJesus, became the first NHL player since 1996 to reach 140 points. I find that disgusting. To do that in the modern game, where you have the butterfly goalies. Goalies are much better. Defenses are much better. They're much more organized. Connor McDavid is disgusting. 60 goals, 80 assists, first in every major category. And oh, by the way, he'll be the first Triple Crown winner, if that's what you want to call it in hockey. I want to say since Claude Lemieux in the 90s?
It's been a long time. I mean, to be first in goals, assists, and points.
Not Claude, I'm sorry. Mario Lemieux, I apologize.
And for Connor as well, to do it in less... I mean, he's played 74 games this year. Last year, he played in 80, and he has more goals, more assists, more points in less games.
I can't wait for postseason hockey. I'm going to tune into every Edmonton game.
He's only he's only 26 years old.
Have to watch. Jesus. And he'll be around for another 10 years. I want to say since Mario Lemieux, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong. Who knows? But when we get back, Brad Holmes, top of the hour. Going to be fun. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Cousins Made Lobster. Sign up today for your delicious tacos. lobster tacos, clam chowder soup. All you got to do is go to that website, scan the QR code, find out where their food trucks are, place your order in advance, go pick it up, place the order when you get there, eat there. I don't care what you do. Lobster tacos, clam chowder soup, eat on behalf of me because I'm fucking annoyed as hell because I can't eat. Check them out. Let them know I sent you. Cousin's Maine Lobster.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots. He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the three biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
All right. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Top of the hour, Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. Man, I am very aware that I look like a grizzly bear. And I got to do something about this. I really do. It's becoming a problem. Just don't have time, man. Don't have time.
You're just a busy man.
Don't have time. Jeff, Brad Holmes spoke to the media yesterday. How'd it go?
So this is per Kyle Meineke. He tweeted out some things, just some quotes. I listened to it actually yesterday, and there was a lot. The media did a good job. I mean, they asked him regarding the quarterback conversation, free agency, how does he evaluate free agents. Brad even hinted that they're not done in free agency. He said look for maybe one or two more players they're going to constantly be evaluating. But I'm going to read some of these tweets to kind of just summarize some of the things he said. The first tweet that Kyle put out, he said, of note, Brad Holmes said the Lions are in a unique position when it comes to drafting a quarterback, and they've been in communication with Jared about their intentions. He also said, Holmes also explained his side of what happened with Jamal Williams, who said Detroit's free agent offer was, quote, disrespectful. Holmes said Detroit set aside resources to re-sign Jamal Williams, but as the market crystallized, they shifted to David Montgomery.
For those of you that don't know what that means, it means Brad Holmes intended on re-signing Jamal, made a formal offer. Jamal Williams decided that, hey, fuck you, I'm worth more. And Brad Holmes, well, suck my balls. David Montgomery is over there, and he breaks more tackles than you could ever dream of.
Funny you said that, because I didn't read the part where he said specifically cited tackle breaking.
There you go.
You just
You're
nailed
welcome.
it. That was the big thing. And also he put at the bottom, he said, asked about Lamar Jackson. Brad Holmes said he always evaluates all good players who are available, but left it at that, which, you know, it's typically most GMs would say the same thing. Another thing I thought was interesting is they kept bringing up his evaluation with prospects that have issues off the field, which clearly we know.
Did he answer or no?
He did. And he said, well, the number one thing I look at is football, the love for the game, number one, accountability, all that stuff. Stuff that we kind of
everything
assume.
that Jalen Carter hasn't been showing the last 3 months.
Well, accountability could be shown in the meeting when they meet with him. I don't know what they're going to discuss or what, but basically Brad said, listen, it's more about the fit than anything. He mentioned how they haven't gotten to the defensive tackles, so your guy Kalijah Cansey, they haven't gotten to that field, but he says he's very aware, obviously, of Jalen Carter. He watches a ton of film. But still, went through the C.J. Gardner-Johnson signing. Emmanuel Mosley said that if Emmanuel Mosley was healthy, he would have never been able to come to Detroit, considering how he started last season. So they definitely, him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson too. I mean, he said C.J., he was calling C.J.'s agent every day after driving home from work, just checking. Like, hey, did he sign? What's going on? What's going on? And then that deal started crystallizing as that went on. But yeah, I mean, Brad, I think the most interesting quote here is the quarterback talk, which I think a lot of it is kind of just it's like smoke.
It's a smoke screen.
Just to try and trade back, possibly.
Even if they really, really want a quarterback, okay? Let's say they really do. And let's say they love a guy.
Uh-huh.
What if a guy is Young or Stroud? Well, they're fucked.
Right.
They're not getting him. Okay. Well, then him saying that, we've been very clear to Jared, well, that's an honest thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it's realistic that they take one at 6 and it's Anthony Richardson like everybody wants and loves to believe? I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Is that'll be a tough pill for me to swallow. I'll swallow a lot of shit. That is one of the things I won't.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa indeed. That's my point.
Okay. Yeah, JB.
Having said
JB, that's...
Having said that, okay?
I don't know where this is going.
Having said that, the point is, look, you got Jalen Carter potentially on the board. And I would say even, here, forget potentially. Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Kancey. To me, those are the 3 prized possessions at 6th overall for the Detroit Lions, depending on who's available. Depending on your preference. I'm not going to tell you if you draft Carter that you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you that even if you take a chance on Tyree Wilson that you're wrong. I'm not going to do that this morning. What I am going to say and what I am going to do is acknowledge the Lions have addressed their pass secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Gardner Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, Cameron Sutton. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. They've re-signed some key players. John Kaminsky, Isaiah Buggs. They still need a dominant, in my opinion, interior pass rusher.
Right.
And I think this defense gets about as close to complete as it gets. I think 6 has to be a pass rusher. I don't see anybody else.
And you know what's funny about that, too, because, Brad, they asked him about the whole BPA. Like, how do you evaluate talent at 6? And is it similar to when they took Panay? Like, when you're at 7, Brad came out and was like, well, I'm comfortable with a lot of different players. He said it's different because they haven't went through all the players yet. But one thing Brad said is just because, people look at position of need, like for a while you saw the Lions, most mock drafts had a corner. He's like, no, we're not doing that. It's best player available. It doesn't really matter. Just because, like you said, their defensive line's got talent doesn't mean they won't take another defensive lineman. He mentioned back in St. Louis, when St. Louis had a really good defensive line, they needed a corner. He took another defensive lineman, and that was like the strength of their defense, strength of their team. So he mentioned that as well. Just because you look at a need of the Lions, they need a corner, they need this. They're in BPA mode, which I actually respect about Brad. He's very transparent about that. He's
which I'm okay with.
We're taking the best player.
And what's BPA in theory, right? BPA at 6, and let's do a little mock board here. Young and Stroud 1 and 2. Doesn't matter the order, okay? Let's say Will Anderson off the board at 3. 4 Will Levis, 5 Tyree Wilson. Okay. So BPA would be Jalen Carter.
True.
Nobody could dispute that. Not even me.
The film don't lie.
BPA would be Jalen Carter. Okay, fast forward to 18. Who likely will be available at 18? That would be BPA. Joey Porter Jr.
I would even throw in Brian Branch. I mean, like some of those secondary players.
Brian Branch, we'll see.
Maybe Van Ness. If
Lucas Van Ness.
If he wants an edge.
In theory, yes. There's going to be a lot of... I think it's
Beydoun.
BPA is much easier to say at 6 than 18, in my opinion. 18, you're going to have 4 or 5 guys that I don't want to say you can't go wrong with, but they're relatively the same.
Mm-hmm.
At 6, it's Jalen Carter, it's Will Anderson, but Will Anderson's not happening. And we all know the issues with Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter shows up to his pro day, delivers, in shape, handles himself correctly, not gasping for air.
He wouldn't be there at 6.
Nobody would be having this conversation. He wouldn't make it past 5.
Yeah, Seattle would take him if he's there, yeah.
And that doesn't even rule out the idea that Seattle takes him at 5. And that's when the Tyree Wilson conversation happens, where you're okay with an edge rusher. You're okay if you want to go in the interior with Kalijah Kancey, because he's the second best interior defensive lineman coming out. Or you can go back to the defensive line or trade back, or I don't care right now. What I care about is what Brad Holmes is saying. And what he's telling you is, We're not going to force ourselves to draft any certain position or anybody, and we're not going to be pressured. Look, you guys know how I feel about Jalen Carter. I'm not going to go through the whole shit again. All right? I'm just not. But the reality is, Brad Holmes has shown you how he drafts. Go to the first year. BPA, Penei Sewell.
Yep.
Okay. Second round, Aleem McNeil. Or excuse me, Levi Onwuzurike, I believe, correct?
Yep, and then Aleem McNeil.
And then Aleem McNeil. Fourth round, hits on a late wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Very good. Move to the next draft. Aiden Hutchinson was not only the need, but also BPA. So you could argue Aiden Hutchinson at 2 was a BPA pick, but to me, that was good fortune. Trayvon Walker going to the Jags, and the Lions ending up with the perfect fit at edge.
Which was BPA also.
Which just so happened to be BPA.
Yeah, he was.
Pick 32, which they ended up trading up to 12. Who was the best player available on the board at 12? It wasn't Jameson Williams. It wasn't. There were players ranked higher.
Mm-hmm.
But to the Lions, he was the highest valued guy. And he was the best player available. And he was the most important position of need. And they went and got him.
Yeah.
So I think really what Brad said was a bunch of nothing, because we've seen how he's drafted. He likes to double down on positions when he drafts them. He'll draft 2 interior linemen. He'll draft 2 edges. He'll draft linebackers back-to-back seasons.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care. Missed on Barnes? Cool. Malcolm Rodriguez. Thank you. Hit on Amon-Ra? Cool. Let me go get Jameson Williams. Sharp my wide receiving core. Damn it, I missed on Levi O. Aleem McNeil is good, solid, okay. Let me go get Jalen Carter. Let me get Kalijah Kancey. That's it.
And another part he mentioned too that I loved is he doesn't go in anymore with, a depth chart in the war room for the draft. I think he said in previous regimes, as he came up in the NFL, they would have a depth chart in the war room.
Like a ranking?
Yeah, like a depth chart of what their team currently has and positions.
Yeah, no.
He's like, no,
you look
going,
at the board only. I agree with that.
So I think that was honestly what Brad said, and it kind of reassured. I mean, Brad's an incredible general manager. We talk about him being the best general manager in Lions history. It's not even a debate. How he operates, how he moves, how he thinks. I mean, I don't think there's one person, at least I know of, that doesn't have full trust in Brad. But I want to bring this comment up because I just want you to share your opinion on it. Oswaldo says, I don't know what's more stupid or more dumb.
Hit me with it.
Trading for Lamar Jackson or drafting Kalijah Kancey at 6.
I'll tell you, it's trading for Lamar Jackson, because Kalijah Kancey doesn't cost me $50 million in 1 year, let alone his entire lifetime contract with the Lions in a 5-year span.
I knew you'd like that one.
What's his name?
Oswaldo.
Fucking idiot.
Adam, you cannot. That's your opinion. You love Kalijah Kancey.
It's not an opinion. Kalijah Kancey, for a fact, is the second best defensive tackle coming out in this draft.
Well, that's a fact.
He's the second best defensive tackle prospect coming out. He's the 4th best defensive lineman prospect coming out. I don't think that's egregious when we talk about Carter, Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, 2 of the 3 being gone in the top 5. I don't think it's egregious at all. And if this was last year's draft, by the way, guys, and Kenny Pickett was coming out, and there was no quarterback going in the top 15, top 18, you know what would happen? Will Anderson would go 1, Carter would go 2, Skronsky would go 3 or 4, Tyree Wilson 4, 5, 3, whatever. All these players that you think you can get would be gone by the time you get to 6. So take advantage of it. Did Miles Murphy fall off huge? No, I don't think so. Miles Murphy, to me,
I've seen him
very interesting prospect.
I've seen him top
I just
15.
think people don't know where to put him.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's with multiple players. Beydoun, nobody knows where to put Beydoun Robinson in this draft. Nobody knows where to put a Miles Murphy. Even Lucas Van Ness. Where does he fall? Is he top 14 or is he top 22?
Yeah.
I've seen both. I've seen Jack Campbell, by the way, shoot up boards. You missed this yesterday. He went in the first round in my mock.
Me too. That's why I took Henley, because he wasn't
31.
Wasn't available. I think for me he went 33. So
ridiculous.
Yeah,
but We'll take a break. When we get back, over under next year, the lines are set at 9.5. Is it fair or unfair? Do they hit the over? You can drop that in the poll. Over or under 9.5 wins next year. You guys make the decision. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you could pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer Machine, full bar. Check it all out, fullingwarehouse.com.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. If you missed the show live, you can always go back, download the podcast after the fact, leave it a 5-star review for Jeff's hair. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever the hell you listen to podcasts. All right, Jeff, here's what we're going to do. Vegas rolled out 9.5 wins for the Lions.
You think that's fair? You think that's right where they should be?
I think it's a fair number.
Before we get to it.
I think it's a fair number.
Yeah, because
to set it at 10.5, just my opinion, they're going to have an influx of high-stake betting either way. They could have done this either way, and they would have been fucked. The Lions are one of the worst teams to set this number for. Because if you set it too high, everybody goes under. You can't set it at 10.5, or 11.5. And you can't set it too low at 8.5, right? Everybody would jump on the under and over. So at 9.5, I would expect 80-90% of the public to go over for the Lions. I think they are a game better. Yes, I do. Everybody will take the over. But if they set it at 10.5, everybody would take the under, and I would say it would flip. To me, the Lions next year, 10-7, 11-6. 10 wins is the floor. To me,
I would agree.
To me, 10 wins would be, man, you guys made a lot of mistakes. How'd you not win more games? But moving past that, I think everybody's going to hit the over this year. I'm not going to sit up here and say, refinance your house and throw all the money on the over. I've seen crazier shit happen in the NFL, but 9.5, I think it's a fair number. I think it protects them because we have to also remember, yes, the NFC is what it is. The schedule is a bit tricky this year. They do play some very good teams at home and on the road. The road schedule is tough.
It is.
10-7, winning the North, very doable to me. 11-6 sounds more realistic, but 10-7 to me wins the North. Vegas, again, last year, I think the over-under was 7.5 or 6.5?
6.5, yeah.
6.5. Expected. They were a 3-win team the year before. You got to get in early and buy them cheap at 6.5. It ended up paying off very well. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over, and 92% of you would agree.
Yeah, it's easy. You take the over. And that's why I asked you, do you think it's too low? Which I don't want to sit here and say it should be 10.5, 11.5, whatever, but you have to, if you win 9 games this year and Jared's healthy, you got better defensively. We still haven't got to the draft. We don't know who they're going to add. they have to win at least 10 games. I think that's fair. So I think if you put the number at 10.5, you're probably, it's a harder decision to make. Do you think they'll win 10 games? Do you think they'll win 11? But since it's at 9.5, I don't think there's any debate, and that's why 93% would agree. To me, I don't want to say it'd be failure, but it'd be disappointing if you win 9 games this year. You might be able to sneak into the playoffs in the NFC, but if you're talking about having you're a divisional favorite in the NFC North. To me, you ain't winning the division with 9 wins. So you got to win 10, 11, 12 games, which I think the Lions will do that. I'm seeing a lot of people put their record predictions. I'm seeing a lot of double-digit wins, and I think rightfully so. So to me, 9.5.
I think it's the right number.
I think it's the right number, but there's the people who are hurting the over or the under on this. I think I don't know. You must know something I don't know. There's no reason this team should win 9 games.
Well, I'll tell you a reason. They fire their coach if they win less than 9 games.
With a better roster, and they started 1-6 and still won 9. So if you start better, there's no reason why you shouldn't win. I know every year in the NFL is different. That's why we love the NFL, but there's no question.
Look, I get Vegas setting it at 9.5. They'll probably get the most action. I think they could have probably got the same action. No, they couldn't have. See, if they set it at 10.5.
Now that makes you think.
I think everybody takes the under.
Well, that makes you think a little more.
See, everybody in Detroit's going to say, oh my God, over, easy. But you would be surprised nationally how many people would say 9.5 for the Lions, 9-8 last year. They'll finish 9-8 this year. They'll go under. I'll take that bet. I have to bet on the Lions winning 10 games. To me, that's a friendly bet both ways. I think it's a very good bet. Vegas did a good job with this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They really did. I've got no problem with it at all.
But how many wins you think they need to win the North is probably the right question.
10 wins the North.
You think 10 will win it?
Yeah, Packers nothing, Bears nothing.
You don't think the
Vikings, I think, could go 10-7.
Okay.
But everything would have to go right just like last year. And they're not any better on defense. They have no money to spend. I don't love what's going on with Minnesota.
They did hire Brian Flores, so I think they did get better just by default, getting Brian. But you're right. I think 10, 11 wins could win the division, but I think Minnesota, they're built to win another double-digit wins. Not saying – I'm still going to say they're frauds. I'll always say that about the Vikings, but they won 13 last year. There's no reason why the Vikings can't win 10 games. So
to me, the Vikings are lucky if they win 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, like 9, I would be impressed.
Wow. And you were high on the Vikings even before the season last year.
The roster's garbage. The defense is garbage.
Well, they
have Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins on offense. An okay offensive line. And who's their number 2 receiver? Because it ain't Adam Thielen anymore.
Well, now it's like it's TJ Hawkinson technically. He's
and good luck paying him.
Yeah, and they have
you
KJ
still
Osborne.
don't have money.
So it is what it is. Luke G says, Jeff and Adam, the real question is, will you actually bet the over and for how much?
I'm probably going to bet the over at $2,000.
Oh, you're all in.
I think that's what I'm going to do this year.
I mean, 9.5.
I think 2,000 on the over.
If it's 9.5, I agree. Like, there's no reason this team should win any less than 10 games.
Look, if there's a
barring injury
that wants to offer me 8.5 at different odds, I'll take it maybe. And put maybe more money. But look, last year it was easy for me to throw money at 6.5. Right? I told you they'd win 7 games. They ended up winning 9. To say they're going to win 10 games this year, I think is very real. And I'm not going to sit here and be scared because the Lions just haven't done it before. I've never seen a roster be assembled like this in my life. Even when they were kind of decent with Schwartz and Caldwell for those 2 years. Never seen this before. To me, it's a smart bet to take the over. I don't blame you for taking the under. But for me, I'm looking at 2,000 for the over. That's what I'm going to do this year.
And that's even with the schedule. I mean, you talk about the tough schedule, playing on the road, and they play Kansas City. But still, again, there's no reason. Like, if the roster last year, starting 1-6, all the injuries they endured, and you won 9 games, this season, by default, you got better in free agency, you address positions in need, you still have the draft, you have, 4 picks in the top 80, whatever, 55, whatever it is, they're going to get better. And players by default from last year will get better because they're going from rookies to their second year. A lot of things are going to get better. So to me, the Lions, this should be an easy one. They should win 10 games. At least the expectation should be there.
Here's what the Lions do. They play the second place team from the West, the NFC West, the NFC East, and the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the AFC West and the NFC South as their divisional rotations this year, which means the Lions will play and host the Packers, the Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, of course, and at home will play Atlanta. I would say a win.
Yeah.
Carolina, should avenge and win.
Yeah.
Denver, I would say a win. Vegas, a win. Seattle, very winnable.
Yeah, they're all winnable games.
I think 7. Let me read this correctly. I think 7-1 is probably the best you can do at home. 6-2 wouldn't surprise me. But let's say 6-2, worst case scenario at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On the road, can they beat Green Bay on the road? Yeah.
Yes.
Can they beat Chicago on the road? Yeah.
Yes.
Minnesota? Yeah.
Yes.
Kansas City? No. The Chargers? That's going to be a tough
It's a
bet.
toss-up, yeah.
New Orleans? New Orleans, tough place to play.
It's another
at.
tough one.
Tampa Bay? I would say yes. So that's already 9-10 wins. That's 10 wins exactly, actually. Dallas? I'm not scared of Dallas. And Baltimore, no Lamar Jackson? Yeah. I'll take my chances. Look, it's a tough schedule. Don't get me wrong. But you're talking 6-2 at home.
And this is
5-4 or 4-5 on the road.
And
I think that's very doable.
And I got to address this. Luke G says, you believe we beat the Panthers after what they did to us last year, LOL, and they have a better head coach. Luke, you do realize the Lions roster...
I don't think that's the real Luke, is it?
Regardless.
They think it was a fake one yesterday, too.
You do realize the Lions roster got better.
Wait. Frank Reich is a better head coach than Dan Campbell? What the fuck is that? Sorry, that just registered in my head.
Well, I think you meant better.
When the fuck is that true?
I think better than Steve Wilkes, better head coach, meaning like they beat us last year with Steve Wilkes. Now they have Frank Reich. I think that's what he meant. But regardless, the Lions, they rolled out with Bugs, Deshaun Elliott. I mean, you got C.J. Gardner instead of Deshaun. You got, hopefully, we'll see, maybe Jalen Carter, some additions they made a free agency. Comparing last year to this year to me is just, you can't do that.
I don't know. Honestly, you know what I think of this fan base right now? And it's not all of you. For those of you that are willing to take a chance and put your arms around this team, I respect it. Thank you very much. As you should. They've done nothing but give you reasons to put your arms around them. For all of you being a bunch of pussies that want to complain about last year or losses with last year and not address the idea that Cam Sutton, Gardner Johnson alone is a significant upgrade and that you still have the 6th and 18th overall pick, and that you don't want to acknowledge you're still going to have a top 10 offense next year.
Yeah.
And that if you somewhat get close to having a top 15 defense, we know that Jared Goff goes 8-2 down the stretch when you give him a top 15 defense in terms of pass rush.
Listen, Panthers, they got better. The Lions
Panthers,
also
how
got
did the Panthers get better? How?
Well, they made some moves.
How?
Well,
how they lost DJ Moore.
They lost DJ Moore.
Okay.
They got Chark, Thielen,
Wow.
Hayden Hurst,
Wow.
Miles Sanders.
Wow.
Added Von Bell.
Wow, I didn't know paying running backs is how you win in the NFL.
Here we go. Still,
and they're going to have
players.
a rookie quarterback.
And they're going to have a rookie quarterback,
and a
which is
coach
true. But they also
that has a losing track record.
They have a good defense, but we'll see.
Whose defense is better?
And that Carolina game,
whose defense is better? Let's go positional.
I would say
secondary, Lions.
Really? J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin?
J.C. Horn, special. Gardner Johnson and him negate each other, in my opinion. I think they're one and the same.
Okay, well, the secondary is close. Defensive line, I would say
Lions.
Panthers. What? Brian Burns, Derek Brown?
I consider him outside linebacker, plays on the edge. That's fair. Fine,
you gotta,
fine. I'll give you that one. Fine.
But regardless, Lions defense got better.
It's not the gap that it was last year, though. Last year, there was the Panthers defense, and the Lions were down here. If you want to tell me the Panthers are still better than the Lions on defense, fine. But it's like this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's almost neck and neck.
Last year, it was a significant difference. I mean,
if you guys want to be pessimistic on the Lions, be my guest. All I know is if they can't win 9 games, let alone 10, you got to be questioning the head coach.
Yeah, that's a disappointment.
Unreal.
If you win 9 games with a better roster, that's a disappointment.
A better roster, a better secondary.
Yeah.
Cameron Sutton, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, Kirby Joseph, returning Tracy Walker.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Tracy's coming back. Great point. He wasn't there last year.
You're going to bring back some of the guys that are good for rotational pieces on the defensive line. You're probably going to draft a defensive lineman in the first round. You have 2 second-round picks. Do you move back into the... I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is there are no excuses this year. You don't get to improve your roster that much and play in the NFC North right now, in the state that it's in, and tell me that 10 wins is a stretch. Fuck you.
Wait, I love this one. Simo says, you act like we signed the best free agent available. Hold on. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, correct me if I'm wrong, was he one of the best free agents available?
No, he's actually a fucking shit on.
I guess he was.
We got to go to break. When we get back, every day. Jaden Ivey goes for 32, 8 and 8. Hell of a performance, Jeff. We got to talk about Ivey for a few minutes. What the future looks like. They've already guaranteed themselves, a top 5 spot, I believe. Can they get the number 1 overall pick? Should it be Wembenyama? We'll get to that next. But before we go, Jeff, I got to tell everybody where I really need to go, and I've been putting it off, and it's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10-8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary. They're awesome. Stylists will take care of you like they always take care of me. So get to a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. I can't believe that I have to sit up here on a Tuesday morning in the off-season after the free agency period the Lions have had, and I have to sit up here and convince you guys that they're not a game better. I don't know if you're just all very scared and you're insecure.
D-Max, not scared.
And you don't want to put your arms around this team. I'm not putting my arms around this Detroit Lions team because I want to, or I feel like it, or because I love them. I'm putting my arms around them because they've been fucking excellent for 3 consecutive off seasons now, and we haven't even gotten to the best part, which is the NFL draft, where your GM makes his bread and butter. That's why you put your arms around this football team. They are significantly better. They will field a top 10 offense next year. They got better at running back. Their offensive line has depth. Their defensive line will get better in the upcoming draft. I can guarantee you that. You will draft players that will have an impact this year in the first 2 rounds. They're not a game better?
Adam, they're NFC North favorites.
They're the favorites to win the NFC North at 9 and 8. Way to go, chat. You guys are a bunch of fucking bright people today. I'm sure God, your mom, and your father are watching right now, and they're so proud of you. Moving on. Jaden Ivey, 32, 8 and 8.
Yeah.
His best night as a Piston. Jeff, walk me through it. Hopeful for the future. They suck absolute balls right now. I think we can all acknowledge that. I hope they don't get screwed out of the number 1 overall pick, because I would file a class action civil lawsuit if I had to endure watching that shit product all year and they don't get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we are right now. I mean, the Bucs last night rolled out a roster without Giannis, allowed him to take the day off, and they still took care of business, dropped 130 on the Pistons. But still, Jaden Ivey was really the player of the night. If you watched the game, you knew that. If you didn't, I don't blame you. But obviously, I have to tune into these games. But for Ivey, it was important for a lot of reasons. Well, the first thing I can point out, too, 11 for 12 from the free throw line. Can we talk about that for a second? That's what I'm looking at for Jaden Ivey, too. His athleticism, we know his physicality, getting to the basket, him drawing fouls is important, because with his athleticism, you got to get to the line, at least double-digit times and most nights, and he's doing that the last night, 11 for 12. So it was nice to see Ivey. At this point in the season, I don't give a damn if they win another game. They have the best odds right now currently on Tankathon to get the number 1 overall pick. They have 16 wins. Obviously, Houston's right behind them at 18. Just keep losing. That's all they got to do. As long as these players continue to play well, like Ivey and James Wiseman, I'm okay. So it was nice to see Ivey play well. It's significant, 32-8-8, like you mentioned. But at the end of the day, I mean, this really means absolutely nothing besides just watching Jaden Ivey play well. If you're at the game last night, you got to see it. But other than that, there's not really much of a reason to tune into the Detroit Pistons right now, especially with 2 home games left.
I'm happy he had a good night. I'm a big fan of Jaden Ivey's rookie year. Before the season started, I told you if he can get you 15-4-4, I'd be happy. I'd be impressed. And he's doing 16-4-5. Pretty happy with that. It's been a good rookie season. 41% from the field. I'd like to see that improve, but he is shooting 33% from the three-point line. I'll take that any day of the week.
Which has been, I mean, his three-point shooting.
I think the free throw percentage has to be 78, 79% next year. He has to take it seriously in the offseason, especially when you get to the basket as much as he does. You're going to draw contact. You're going to get to the line. Make sure you're shooting 80% next year. That to me is Jaden Ivey's goal.
Yeah,
that would be my bet. Now for the future, we got 3-4 minutes. Let's do this quick. For the future of this team, do you want to see it with Wembenyama or Brandon Miller?
Well, it's easy. It's Victor Wembanyama.
Okay,
but
cool.
If they have the second, third pick,
no. Best case scenario.
Oh, Victor.
I'm giving
not
you the
even,
option.
Yeah, it's not even debate.
Great. Let's imagine that. Okay. This team has to completely change. You can play Duren and Wembenyama, I believe. I do. I think they can be on the court at the same time. I think Wiseman has earned himself a future here. I do.
I would agree.
And I would love a guy like that coming off the bench, giving me 20, 22 minutes, again, at a position where I don't want Duren out there 34 minutes a night, or even Wembenyama 35, 36 minutes a night. I don't want that. You got to be very protective of these big guys. Okay? Cool. Killian Hayes got to go. Everybody that can't shoot the 3-ball has to go. And then your offense is about spacing and pick and roll. And that's it. And you need guys that can hit shots.
Yep.
And when Duren's on the court, it's a slow down, big man offense. You're being more methodical about getting your shots. Duren off the court, it's Wembenyama and 4 smalls. My goodness. 3-point city.
Yeah, he's
fast
a freak.
offense. Moving the ball. Space. I like the idea of it. I hope they get the number 1 overall pick. Who knows if Wembenyama even works? All I know is I am sick of this 4 or 5 year run of them sucking balls. They better get rewarded for it.
I hope so.
Suck balls as always. How do you not?
Yeah, how do you not? Like Fish always says. Right now, the Pistons are in an interesting position. Victor, to me, in the league, his future's probably at the 4. He's a freak, 7'5". Even as thin as he is, the number 1 concern for me is just longevity, lasting in the league, playing 82 games, the physicality of the NBA. But if we're talking just strictly the talent of Victor, there's no question he could fit with any team in the NBA. I mean, if you're 7'5", can shoot, can handle the ball, I mean, it's positionless. That's where the NBA is heading essentially anyway. So for Victor, he can become a Piston any day of the week, twice on Sunday. He's fine. So we'll see. I'm excited for the lottery. It's in about a month or 2 months, a little under that. So we'll see. Pistons right now have the best odds. They got to continue to lose games. They got 2 home games left, I believe. So
how do you guys think I should handle myself in a few weeks or months when they fire Dwayne Casey? Should I be a professional and just show up and be like, okay, cool, they moved on? Or should I come in and absolutely throw a fucking
hold
party?
on a second. What if they don't?
Well, you know what I'm going to do. I'll show up to LCA outside with a pitchfork and a bunch of signs, and I'll demand him to be fired immediately. You think I'm scared of going to the LCA with pitchforks and picket fence?
You're not doing that.
Yeah, we are.
You are. No, you are doing that. I'm not doing that. You'll be.
They have Dwayne Casey next year. You're not going to be upset. Are you serious?
Well, if they stink, I'll be upset. I don't hate Dwayne as much because I get the whole criticism thing, but still, if Troy feels like Dwayne is the guy for next year,
the dude can't coach, man.
I'm trusting Dwayne.
Oh God.
I'm trusting Troy.
I hope to God
I'm trusting
what
Troy.
you just said never comes true, because I'm going to say things I really don't want to say about this basketball
I'm not going to sit
team.
here and say it's already decided he's gone, because he's not. It's not decided. Troy hasn't. I mean, there's no indication of that. If anything, all indications point to he'll be here next year. So I don't want to sit here and say if he's, who will the next coach be? I don't want to say that because nothing's given. He could be here next year. So buckle up.
I would be disgusted.
Okay.
I would be disgusted if this organization believed that this guy was the best man for the job going into next year.
We'll
Absolutely disgusted.
No.
Having said that, we'll take a break. When we get back, we'll wrap up the show with a few things. We'll get to Jared Goff. Final thoughts around the NFL as well, by the way. Breaking news. I wouldn't say breaking news, but there is a league source, a league-wide belief that a certain player could be traded for, quote, the right offer.
It's a pretty good player.
The Jets? Maybe? What's going on? What's going on? We'll get to that next, but before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Let me tell you about them. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and right now they have an exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans and their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. Only $15 plus free shipping. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
You know, before we get to this league-wide news, there's something that's really bothering me. And the more I look at it, the more I really get bothered.
What?
You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys are up to speed with what happened yesterday. At the Covenant Church School, where 3 kids died, 3 adults died, because some fucking idiot, some shitty human being, didn't understand who they were as a person and struggled with whatever bullshit they had fucking going on in their lives, decided to kill 6 people for no fucking reason. I'm getting really sick of this shit, actually. And as father-to-be, by the way, this is I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. And no, I don't think it's as simple as it's a gun policy, it's a gun law. I don't think that. I think that's very ignorant. I do. But what the fuck is going on, man? Since when do we kill kids? Huh? Look, gang violence, road rage. You go to rob a store. I get it. I'm not saying it's okay, but I can at least process and get it. You're upset with somebody, you caught your wife cheating on you, you kill the dude. Fine. At least I put 1 and 2 together. A she that identifies as a he decides to go shoot up apparently her former school and kill 3 kids. Why? Why? What are you going through that's so bad, huh? That's what you have to do, huh? If you need help, go get help. And you know what? If you want to kill somebody, kill yourself, you fucking useless piece of shit. For all of you struggling with mental health, if you decide to do any of that shit, fucking kill yourself first. Please do us all a favor. We don't want you. Fucking disgusting. Alex is laughing. God damn it, Alex. But
Wow.
I'm being serious, man. When the fuck did we become like this? When? Children? Really? So now I have to go to work in 3 years and have to think about this shit, right? That's great. What about the parents that their entire lives just completely changed? Never be the same.
Mm-hmm.
3 faculty members that lost their lives. Why? Why? Because they're taking care of our kids and helping educate them? Really? What a fucking joke. When did we become like this? I get mental health. I get life is really hard, man. I get it. I know life can be so fucking hard. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like you can work your way through something. And it's easy for me to sit up here and say, if you put your mind to it and you really fight your demons, you can get past it. Easy for me to say, maybe. But we've all been through our fair share of shit. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. I have a ton of problems you don't need to know about. Am I going to go shoot up a fucking school? No. Matt's got problems. JB's got problems. We all have problems. It's okay. And we're here for each other. And you try to help each other out. And you know what? On the off chance that you have nobody to talk to, go find somebody. Somebody will listen. And if you don't, fucking kill yourself then. Please. Please don't go shoot up a school. Fucking hell, man. Getting sick of this shit.
Yeah, it's terrible. Especially when you read that 2 of the firearms that were used were purchased legally. Which it's like...
Again, I'm not going to get into that conversation because I have a whole different opinion on why this country is the way it is. Everybody wants to deflect and say there isn't gun violence in the UK and all these other places, but nobody wants to mention knife violence. How much more violence happens with
there's
any
violence.
other way? I mean, come on.
It's
going to happen. But for God's sake, guys, forget the weapons for a second. If I want to kill somebody, I'm going to find a way to get my hands on a gun. Black market or legally. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I'll find a way. What the fuck is wrong with us? What happened to us? We fight world wars, get rid of dictators, and 70, 80 years later, this is what we are? Huh? We kill children? Fuck off.
See, Bob Johnson says in Canada our laws are a lot stricter and we're having gun issues here as well.
Look, I think there's a lot to blame across the board. Politicians, guns, the industry, whatever. Fine. But when did we become like this? That's it. That's my only question this morning. When did we become so fucked in the head where we can't even have conversations with each other? Where if I don't call you a certain pronoun, I've offended your existence. When the fuck did we become like this? What happened? What happened? I'm 29. I don't even want to live to 50 to see the shit that's going to be around. I think I'm good at dying before 50, honestly. And I don't think I want to have any more kids after 1. Because I'm not trying to raise them in a fucked up world like this.
Can't blame you.
What a joke. Having said that, let's go around the NFL. Lamar Jackson, thank you, JB, for the update, by the way. Lamar Jackson, reportedly the right offer. League-wide, people believe the Ravens will let him go. I still think the Ravens really want him. John Harbaugh reaffirmed it. The president reaffirmed it, Jeff. JB, I'm not sure how you feel about the whole situation with Detroit and Lamar and all that, so I'll ask you in a second. But he's going to be available. It's all public now. The trash is out there. You guys know who I think should make a move for Lamar? JB, what do you think?
I'm passing on him. If I'm the Lions, I'm still passing on him. No disrespect to Lamar. I don't know what's going on with him in Baltimore and his camp over there, but I'm just passing on him. If anything, as you said, I would lean towards Atlanta taking a shot at him, at least, as well as I can see. Colts, not so much, just because given their track record of QBs as of lately, besides Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he's their only black quarterback that they've had in their whole entire franchise. So I don't think culture-wise he fits there in Indianapolis.
True.
So I think it leans a little bit more towards Atlanta for me. So Atlanta, here's your shot. Here's your opportunity. Go ahead. Go after it. Atlanta
with Lamar would be, I mean, that's, like you mentioned it before, that's the most ideal situation for me, at least. If it's not with the Ravens, it's the Falcons.
You look at teams that need a quarterback, all right? Let me ask you guys this. JB, Jeff, yes or no question. Do the Lions need a quarterback right now? Right now?
No, not right now.
No.
Okay, JB?
No.
Okay. Does Atlanta?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Does Indianapolis?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, then they should move 2 first-round picks and make it happen.
Lions aren't as desperate as those teams with getting a quarterback. I agree.
And if they need to trade for him, I'm sure the package will be a little different, maybe a little more expensive, but I'm sorry. The Lions are in a position where they don't have to. Some other teams have to. The Jets have to. Jets need a quarterback. But they've already put their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. You know how embarrassing that would be?
And they signed all his friends.
And they signed half of his friends already.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, we'll take a break. When we get back, mailbag time. We'll get to all of your questions and so much more. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Well, Guardian Alarm, let me tell you a defense you should draft 6th overall. It's Guardian Alarm. Customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. Call them anytime, day or night. Know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you for as long as you need. Your safety and security deserves technology that's not only been proven to work, but with people that have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm not doing anything, by the way. I just want to say 2 more things before anything. I'm getting very, very annoyed by a lot of you this morning. I don't give a fuck about your pronouns. I don't give a fuck about your mental health. I don't give a fuck about your opinions on gun laws. I don't give a fuck about what any of you think about anything. What I give a fuck about is that for some reason, it's now acceptable and common to kill fucking children. What a fucking joke. I don't give a shit what the reason was. What a joke. We're so selfish. We're so fucked up. Fucking disgrace, man. What a disgrace. What a fucking disgrace.
It's a messed up time we're living in.
Fucking idiots, man. What a bunch of fucking idiots. Moving on. All right. Mailbag. With Brad Holmes stating he's not done in free agency yet, who would you like to see the Lions acquire to bolster their division chances? I guess we can start with Jeffrey Simmons.
That's one. I wouldn't say Calais Campbell is a division-winning move, but there's other guys that are going to be available. I think Jeffrey Simmons is definitely a guy that you have to look at. He had 8 sacks this year, 8 sacks the previous year. I mean, and by the way, check it out. Calais Campbell. Roman actually just wrote an article on it at WoodwardSports.com.
Sweet.
It goes into depth about it all, so go read that. Matt just put the link in the chat for you guys. Mailbag, how bad will the Tigers be?
Very bad. Honestly, I do hope they're better than last year, but I don't know where the runs are going to come from. I just don't see it. Javi Baez, if he can get back to what he was 4 years ago, maybe, but I got nothing for you. Even in the World Baseball Classic, he was still swinging in the dirt, so that's not changing anytime soon. I don't care if you hired God as your manager. I don't think that's changing. The Jets can make all the dumb moves they want. Be careful, though, when they send Wilson to Green Bay to compete with Love, and he blossoms in Green Bay, the scripted NFL at its best. Dude. I enjoyed reading that, I think, way more than I thought I would. The idea that Zach Wilson will ever work in the NFL, that to me is laughable. Character. That's all I need to know. He's selfish. He's entitled. And those are the two traits you can absolutely never have as a quarterback. You can never be entitled, and you can never be selfish. Because when you're the quarterback of a middle school team or an NFL team, everybody comes before you, and you are responsible for everybody. And if somebody jumps off sides, or jumps off the line of scrimmage and it's a false start, that's your fault. If somebody runs the wrong route, that's your fault. If you put the ball only an inch behind him and he drops it, your fault. Quarterbacks take accountability. They don't sit there and pass blame and, oh my God, I thought I played good. I was 3-19 today. Hey, man, Zach Wilson, 10 out of 10. God, what a bust.
So he does all of that, and he sleeps with moms. So that's just a sprinkle on top of there.
Stud.
Hockey Lord says, thoughts on 49ers saying that Purdy's the starter. He's quarterback one. I mean, yeah, I would agree with how he finished last season.
Yeah, 100%.
They'll compete, but Purdy deserves to get it.
Well, I think John Lynch came out yesterday and said he has the locker room.
Yeah,
Brock
for sure.
Purdy has the voice of the locker room.
Definitely.
And I wouldn't be shocked.
And Trey being out with injury, it is what it is. This is the NFL.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Aaron Rodgers is entitled and selfish. Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers also is one of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history. And it helps when you're that. And his career is a disappointment because of him being selfish and entitled. When you're 1-5, 1-6 in NFC title games, yeah, it's because you're selfish and entitled.
Justin Reese says, Mailbag, why doesn't Stetson Bennett not get any love for being back-to-back national championship winning quarterback? I understand that he has a great defense.
Because A.J. McCarron also won national championships.
Well,
right?
Two things. One, he's undersized. Number two, he's 25 years old. And
I think he'll get drafted.
He'll get drafted,
Fourth,
but that's
fifth, sixth round, no problem.
He's 5'11". He's not really. When you watch Stetson Bennett, he's solid, playing for Georgia, but I don't think he's. He's not going to go first 3
Michigan
rounds.
win the Natty in hockey? I don't know. I'm not following. I couldn't give you an honest answer. I hope they do. How about that? I'll say that. I'll root for them. I hope they do.
Apex says, Mailbag, should cornerback still be a top pick considering top pick consideration considering that Mosley and Johnson are on one-year deals? I agree, Apex. I think it's in the conversation.
At 6?
Just in general.
I think at 18, yeah. Or you move up to 14 or 15. I don't mind it.
If Brad trades back and takes Christian Gonzalez, I'm not going to be mad. I mean, it like you said, they're both on one-year deals. I think Mosley will get paid, and Gardner Johnson, we don't know if he's staying. So,
all right, how do you feel about Jeffrey Simmons and Jalen Carter? They draft him and they sign Jeffrey Simmons.
Aiden Hutchinson will have one-on-ones all year. That is dangerous. I mean, last year was double-teamed a lot. You can't double-team him now with Jalen Carter and Jeffrey Simmons and James. It's over. Yeah.
All right. You going to any Michigan Panthers games this season, David? You should know the answer to that. Absolutely not. I'd rather die.
Yeah, you'd rather die. Wow.
I would rather die. I'm not watching the XFL, the USFL. I'm not watching any of that garbage.
Ever since Shea Patterson went number 1 overall, That's
all you need to know about that garbage league. And Jeff Fisher was the coach. That's all you need to know.
I don't think Shea's on a roster right now in the USFL after being drafted number 1 overall.
All right. Adham, Tyree Wilson, or Kalijah Kancey, if both are available at 6. Jalen Carter
I have
off the
more
board.
question marks with Tyree than I do Kalijah, even though people might believe
Depends what I do in free agency.
Because
if I go out and get Jeffrey Simmons, in theory, let's say I go make a move for him, right? And I trade for him. That changes my draft strategy. If the team stays the way it is now, I would lean Kalijah Kancey over Tyree Wilson at 6. I just would.
Tyree Wilson, he scares me a little bit. With the injury history, I mean, a lot of things. So with less questions with Kancey, maybe trade back and try and get Kancey.
All right, Jeff, what do you think the Lions have to give up for Simmons?
That's a good question. I guess
55? 55
I wouldn't hate it because you're going to have to extend him too. So you got to pay him.
That
and they
is
have money.
always a problem.
They got money, but still, I wouldn't give up probably much more than that, to be honest with you.
How much penicillin did Jeff take after his adventures this weekend?
Jesus. What adventures?
Well, we told everybody what you did this weekend.
I didn't. What did I do? Inform me.
Well, you went to the
Inform
bar.
me.
You picked up 7 dudes and 7 women. You had an orgy. You put a lot of things in your mouth you probably regretted doing, which is why you called off on the show yesterday. Should I continue?
No, leave it at that. You sickos, man. You're all sickos.
Adam, when are you done fasting? I believe April 22nd or 21st. I don't know the date offhand.
What? D-line, Jeff loves meat popsicles. All right, we got to end the show. I'm done. I'm out.
I bet you do.
I'm out.
I bet you do. All right, that's it for today's show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We appreciate it as always. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow Woodward Sports on social media. Till tomorrow, you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Again, if you like meat kebabs in your mouth, call Jeff.
No.
DM him.
Don't do that.
I'm sure he's interested.
Don't do that.
Till tomorrow, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.